Today we're headed to the breakfast shop in Lewisburg, Tennessee. My guest is Jameson Statema. This is
Pilot Heat, we're gonna do it.
All right, Jamie, you ready to go? Here we go, off to the races.
Oh man, I'm nervous.
Ellington traffic, start 9445 mile final, 34 Ellington.
Oh boy. Up, up, we're gonna fly away, we're gonna fly away someday.
All right, Jamie, tell me about what you do.
What do? I'm a husband, I'm a dad, I'm a go fish guy. I make great music for kids. I won't drive parents bonkers.
That's the tagline.
That's the tagline. That's how I know you. We ended up together because our record label said you should work with a guy named Scott Williamson. This is like 20 years ago, yeah. And I remember the first thing I heard about you was that you made some other artist cry in the vocal booth. And I thought, how is that possible?
Yeah, that was not a great day for me or that person.
I was intrigued immediately. I'm like, well, I want to meet this guy. See if he can make me cry while I sing.
Yeah, I still feel bad about it. In my defense, it was, you know, we were all learning how to... We were kids.
Yeah.
When that happened. But it ended up being a big record, so all's well that ends well.
Well, you never made me cry. Although I do remember one of the first times I messed up, you just said, try it again, stupid fool. And I thought, I like this guy. I can hang out with this guy. The other thing I remember, for people watching, they may not know, you were producing some of our songs in Go Fish. How a producer gets paid, you just pay him a lump sum, and then they hire the players and the band and the studio and all this stuff. So I remember meeting you, and I'm like, so I grew up playing the drums. So I really wanted awesome drums on our record. And I'm like, who's drumming on this? And you're like, I am. I'm like, oh, great. This guy's just trying to save some money, and he's going to plunk out the drums on his own to save some
great
money and make more money. I'm like, this is going to stink. So we started working together, but I knew that we were going to be friends when we finished a session and then went up and watched Waiting for Guffman.
Oh my gosh.
We bonded. I'm like, I like this guy.
That is bonding. So Go Fish is a pretty big entity, and you've done some other ancillary stuff with children's music. Again, the kind that you would maybe hear on the radio, not the kind that makes parents wish they were dead.
Yeah, you know, when my boys were young, I sort of had this epiphany, because I remember listening to Toby Mac in the car, and my boys were just loving it. They were like 2 and 3. I'm like, hey, kids' music does not have to sound like Barney.
Yep.
We could go a different direction here. And that's what we did, and it was great. There's certain, you know, sometimes you're making music and you feel like you're just trying to force people to listen to your music. When we started making music for kids, it was like, I had no idea there was such a need for it, and people just wanted it, and it wasn't a hard sell. So that was very rewarding.
That led to, haven't you been doing curriculum for that?
Yeah, no, we did a lot of EBS curriculum. We have Christmas curriculum, Easter curriculum, all that stuff to really, it's interesting. We started doing curriculum to sort of support the music, and then the curriculum kind of took off on its own.
And you're still doing that?
We're not doing a lot of new curriculum now. What's interesting is through the years, we've been at it a long time, the curriculum, it's not as much of a thing anymore, but the music has really stood the test of time.
Oh, that's great.
It's really had a great shelf life. We have new families with young kids finding Go Fish music all the time. And so that's really kind of become our focus again, is just more on the music side.
That's great. Your wife was doing a lot of the curriculum, wasn't she?
Yeah, so she has her master's in special ed. She wrote all the Bible lessons and everything, is a super talented writer. Been married 26 years. She's amazing. What's the hardest part about flying? Landing?
Yeah, landing is definitely the part that's, you know, the most adventurous.
What was it like the first time you flew solo?
Well, most people will tell you their first solo is about as exhilarating as anything they ever experience.
Yeah.
For the obvious reason, you just realize as soon as you take off, there's nobody sitting here
right.
to save you if you screw up. A good instructor is not going to let you solo until he is absolutely convinced that you're ready. It's almost always the same thing. Go fly 3 circuits and then come back and pick me up.
Yeah.
And I will never forget. I took off and I had that, my gosh, I have to do this now. I got to get...
Really?
And the first landing by myself was like the most... I just remember this uncontrollable grin coming over my face. Like, I did it. I totally did it.
I think that's great. Do you find it... I find it hard sometimes to just have fun. You know, people are like, man, you just need to have fun, man. And for some reason, that can be hard.
Oh,
which
yeah.
might surprise people, because I've always had a fun job, but... So I'm impressed that you do this.
Well,
this is a big deal.
The only thing I know how to do is music.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn something different.
Good for you, man. I think that's awesome. Well, I like to round up horses. I like music with the fiddle. And there's nothing much more tasty than some flapjacks on the griddle. My belt buckle is buckled and my wranglers are on tight. You put all these things together.
I make great music for kids that won't drive parents bonkers.
I wrote that.
It's going to make me work for it today. Yep.
Yes.
All right, we did it.
Good job, Scott.
This is where my airplane lives. This is Ellington Airport in Lewisburg, Tennessee, home to Stuman Aircraft, where Kent Stuman takes great care of my Mooney. Downtown Lewisburg.
The men are men and so are the women. Just kidding.
These days, that's just totally normal, isn't it?
That's true. That's true.
Courthouse is amazing.
Yes.
You won't find much about the breakfast shop online, but I love this place. I eat here whenever I need to preheat the airplane engine on a cold morning. The food is simple but delightful. Great small-town ambiance and service. They're open Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., and closed on the weekends. Bring your cash because they don't take credit cards.
So tell me about this thing you're doing with the Hope Line.
So what the Hope Line does, they're a faith-based crisis chat line for students and young adults.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of the perfect tie-in to the Go Fish thing. I mean, everybody kind of knows, like with COVID and everything, the whole mental health crisis, it's become an epidemic. And so the Hope Line has just exploded. It started years ago as a back end for Dawson McAllister's radio show.
Yep.
It was like a
Yep.
live call-in
I remember
show
that.
for teens.
Yep.
Dawson passed away a few years ago. The radio show is long gone, but the Hope Line is just growing like crazy. So I stumbled upon them. It's interesting. The very first gig Go Fish ever did was in 1994 or 1995 at a Dawson McAllister youth conference in Minneapolis.
Wow, so 30 years ago.
Yeah, and I had no clue when we moved to Tennessee that the Dawson McAllister Hope Line headquarters was like 3 minutes from my house.
Wow.
So when COVID hit, churches shut down. Obviously, Go Fish isn't doing live shows. Nobody's doing VBS, anything like that.
Yep.
Totally shut down. And so they were looking for someone to do like a contract job with their website. And so I did that. It was just going to be a short-term thing, and I loved it. Just what they were doing. It's amazing. So basically, kids can go to thehopeline.com. It's 100% free. We're donor funded. 24 hours a day, they can speak with a Hope Coach. And basically, it's a faith-based alternative to like 988, suicide hotline. But because we're donor funded, our Hope Coaches can pray with these kids, and the crisis intervention they're getting, it's all from a biblical worldview. It is weird though, like doing something other than music.
Oh, I know. I've done so many cool things in my life. It's really weird having a day where I just have to kind of do all the mundane things.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to be on stage in front of 2,500 people or 5,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's not as fun when you're at home putting stuff in mailer envelopes to send out to clients, 500 at a time.
Well, sometimes I kind of even forget, like my kids were just commenting because I was doing some things in my closet. I'm like, oh, check out this Timberwolves jersey I have of when we sang the national anthem at this NBA game. And they're like, what? You never told us about that, you know? I'm like, oh yeah, we did this and this. And they're like, why is this not hanging up on our wall? When you're lucky enough to get to do these really big, cool things, you kind of take it for granted a little bit.
Totally. It's one of the good things about having a family when you're in this line of work. And of course, I've never been a big stage persona, so I can very easily go to Kroger and nobody knows who I am. I'm not famous. But even when you're doing the behind the scenes stuff in this industry, it's still seen as cool. Oh, you're a drummer, you're a studio, you play on people's records. That's cool. Well, my wife doesn't think I'm cool. My kids don't think they know. You know, I'm an arrogant enough guy that if I had been single all these years, I can't even imagine the kind of ogre I would have turned into. It's bad enough as it is.
Yeah, there's a danger to that, I think, because through the years I sort of developed this performance-based approach to everything I did, including my relationship with God, and it's been really good for me to do some other kinds of work that are just normal things, and to just be like, I'm okay, just I don't have to have this label of producer or Go Fish guy or musician or whatever. It's just okay to be just who I am. It sounds very Mr. Rogers, but it's true.
Yeah. Sometimes life is just mundane and you do the things that you have to do because they have to be done. But yeah, finding something that you love to do, getting good at it and being able to make a living at it is great. But again, having people that ground you, it's really important. That's important for everybody. It's not just people in the arts, but people in the arts, we've seen it. I mean, you watch in political seasons, everybody wants to know, what Taylor Swift thinks. Why should I care? She's a singer and a songwriter. Whether I agree or disagree with her politically should have no bearing on what I think of her art. And yet we just idolize celebrity. What does Tom Cruise think about this? I don't care.
True.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So, but we do that.
Yeah. We do it in the church too. That always bothered me, even in the moment.
Pastors, I know.
Well, I look back at seasons where, I'm 25, 26, 27. We're doing all these huge things with Go Fish. And I look back about where I was as a person. I mean, I was just a kid. I don't know. People come to the merch table and they're like, I'm going through this issue or this issue, or I'm thinking of killing myself, or my parents are divorced and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I'm 26 just trying to make a living in the music business. I have no idea how to respond to you. It's like, yeah, I'm a believer. Yes, I care about you, but I'm just getting through life myself. But we put these people on the pedestal and it's just like, they're just kids trying to figure things out too. And it's that is one of the things I do like about working with the Hope line. As an artist, when those people would come to the merch table, I wish I had some place to send them because I had no business trying to, I didn't know. I'll be honest, I keep falling into commercial mode doing this thing. I just want to talk normally. I keep going into it's hard to ignore the cameras.
Yeah.
I have issues, man. Yeah. Ooh, thank you. Wow.
All right.
Oh, this looks amazing. How's your pancakes?
We usually rate.
This is like a 9 out of 10 in my opinion. This is really good.
Okay.
Yeah, how about you?
The presentation wasn't as good, but the taste of everything was easily 8, 9.
Nice. What's this place called again?
Your mom's. Well, we did it, Jamie.
We did it. This was good.
We've done an episode of Pilot Eats Food. You crushed it as...
I loved I like your theme song.
Thank you. I spent about an hour on it, and I did everything. That should tell you.
So you did that last voiceover, the pilot?
No, that's Jeff Roach.
Oh, I was going to say,
the second episode of Pilot Eats Food. That was Jeff.
Good job, Jeff.
Yeah, Seth isn't using that as much anymore.
Oh, really?
He's gotten, it's more quick.
Seth, I'm requesting the voiceover in this episode.
Pilot Eats Food.
Okay, I think we're done here.